Hello dear students, I am very happy to invite you all to participate in Kiran Prep app, and I am Mannivann RJ, MBA and MA Psychology, and I am holding nearly 8 years of experience for training for bank exams in all over India. And here today I am going to start your course for managerial executive positions in various banks, insurance and RBI and such other organizations. And I am glad to introduce what is all about bank exams first of all. So before going to know about what is bank exams, you have to know in any organizations there are two positions. One, the managerial executive positions, which we also call as top managerial executives, and the subordination positions called assistants or clerks or assistant manager positions. So if you guys would like to aspire for joining in various sectors of banking, insurance and or any other Grameen banks or RBI of Government of India, what all you have to do is what I am going to talk to you now. So I would like to first introduce with what is bank PO. So as concerned with bank PO, we have two types of exams for bank PO. One is by IBPS, also we call it as Institute for Banking Professional Selection, and another is SBI, State Bank of India, all of you know it very well. Next, RRB, which is actually directly conducted by IBPS. So dear students, these three exams or major types of exams in India for selection in banking professionals. So IBPS conducts two types of exams. One is PO, another is clerk. In the same manner, SBI also conducts PO and clerk. But with respect to RRB, which is also known as Regional Rural Bank, which has another variety called as officers grade and assistants. So officers grades are not anything different from PO. Both are one and the same category. Since IBPS and SBI has more commercial in nature, and they don't call it as officers, they call it as probationary officers. But in RBI, it's more of service because it's based on the rural development. They call it as officers and assistants. So dear students, these three exams are primary bank exams in India, which gives a managerial executive position in any banks. All of you know that we have in India 20 nationalized banks. So all the 20 nationalized banks are directly promoting the Indian economy. So in order to support these nationalized banks, to facilitate and provide services for the general public of India, we need the human resources for those banks. And the human resources are not just a common man, but a person who is having a tremendous and an extreme good level of leadership quality. That's why all the 20 banks have handed over their recruitment process of probationary officers in the hands of IBPS. So now we have to know that IBPS is the nodal agency which actually conducts various bank exams for all the 20 nationalized banks, including PO, clerk, and we have one more category called SO. SO means specialist officers. Specialist officers are nothing but the people who are specialized in their own field. For example, a BE engineer in electronics and communication who is definitely a needed person in a bank to deal with all the online transactions. He is a specialized person in that field. So that's why, for example, if you are getting a message in your mobile that such money or 10,000 or 15,000 is credited or debited in your account, and also you're getting mails and you are able to receive the bank statements, all because of these specialists. They're not going to do the proper core banking functions, but they are facilitating the core bank functions. So, but whatever, this SO also conducted by IBPS, since because it is Institute of Banking Professional Selection for all the employment or human resource related to this 20 nationalized banks are dealt by IBPS. But when we talk about SBI, it is not directly coming under the recruitment process of IBPS. SBI has its own separate banking exam recruitment process, because SBI is quite largest bank in India, and it is one of the top 10 banks all over the world, and it has tremendous level of human resource and branches, corporate networks, and monetary policies, and fiscal financial entertainments, and the programs. That's why SBI has not handed over its recruitment process to IBPS, but it holds its proper recruitment process in its hands. So whatever changes happens in SBI, we can see the impact in other institutions also. So that's why SBI has always more salary for its employees and more service conditions for employees always than IBPS and RRB. So this is actually existing bank exams in India. And as I have mentioned that this is the managerial executive positions in India. So the syllabus content of all these exams have greatly, for example, we can say more than 90% share with other executive managerial positions in other institutions also, like RBI, then Grameen banks, and insurance institutions, and also private banks as well. So dear guys, the section what we are seeing here are known as core bank exams in India, where you are enjoying tremendous level of job security and salary conditions and very easy periodical promotions. But in case of insurance and private banks, the service conditions are not as such as in IBPS and SBI and RRB, but you're enjoying the same position as an officer, and you're going to have the functions of banking and the functions of insurance and commercial entity as well concerned with those institutions like GIC or any private banks we can consider, PNB or ICICI Bank, HDFC, and all such other banks. Since why? Because these are all known as private and these are all known as government institutions. That's why we call it as SBI is a national bank and IBPS conduct exams for the nationalized banks. So now when we talk about Grameen banks, it has the same nature of banking transactions and banking professional practices, but the commercial practice is quite less in Grameen banks. That's why here the personnel recruited as an officer is known as officers. For example, we can say Group A and Group E officers who actually involve in the promotion of the villages or panchayats, or some cases nagar panchayats. But in case of RBI, it's quite different story, because whatever we have seen, actually they are directly dealing with the money. Exclusively they are directly dealing with the public of India. In nook and corners, we can't say that there is no money can populate and survive without ATMs and without banks and without insurance companies or without private banks or Grameen banks. So all these IBPS, SBI, Grameen banks, insurance institutions, privates, all these institutions directly deal with public. But RBI one which indirectly deals with public. Why? Because RBI is known as the Central Bank of India. The Central Bank of India does not involve with public directly, but it influences all these banks, including the 20 nationalized banks and SBI and all the Grameen banks and all the insurance institutions and all the private banks. And we can say that RBI is a central nodal bank which actually regulates and controls all the banks in India and all the monetary institutions in fact as well. So that's why RBI has a big role in Indian economy. So dear students, when you are aspiring for other bank exams, as I have explained so far, has definitely a difference with RBI. Why? Because as I told you, we are not going to deal with the public directly, but indirectly you are going to influence the public in terms of Indian economy by means of all these institutions. That's why RBI mode of exam is quite different from other bank exams or other managerial positions exams. But here again we have the two categories, as I have told in earlier, officer cadre and assistant cadre. We call it as Group B, services in RBI, and assistants services in RBI. So when you are recruited as a Group B officer, definitely you are an officer cadre who is going to have the gazetted position in RBI. In fact, you are a government official, but you are not going to do the regular banking transactions, but instead you are going to practice Indian economy. Why? Because it's more of dealing with Indian economy than the banking functions. Why? Because Indian economy completely depending on the monetary circulations in all these institutions and also in government and primarily in the hands of public, which is directly and indirectly regulated, manipulated and controlled by RBI. That's why this section of bank exam is quite different than other sections of the exams. Hope you would have got an overall picture about what is this managerial executive positions of all these institutions. Hope I so. Now let us discuss what are all the promotional conditions. What are all the promotional conditions? For example, if you occupy an IBP or an SBI or RRB, how will be your growth? Obviously, right. Obviously, if you're going to join in any company as well, if you think that you're going to join in a private company, you would definitely think about that how I am going to grow in my company, how I am going to grow in my career, right? And how I am going to earn. Definitely no money, no job, right? So you have to think about that, what I'm going to become after joining in the institutions. What will my growth? What will be my financial sufficiency? How I am going to secure my life financially and career-wise? Let us discuss in a brief. Then you will get a very clear picture. So let me first talk with IBPS and SBI. And actually I have to classify and tell them because their service conditions are quite little different, maybe on 10%. Let us see that. So we are talking about PO, probationary officers. You have to keep it in your mind that probationary officers exam in banking field, when you're preparing yourself for IBPS PO or SBI PO, remind in your mind that you are like preparing for line hunting. It's like a line hunting, and clerical exam is like a deer hunting. So I would clearly say to you that, dear students, when you know how to hunt a lion, you will also know very easily how to hunt a deer. Isn't it so? Am I right, I think? So you have to know that, how to hunt a lion, and you prepare itself for it. So the case in IBPS and SBI, PO. But as I'm saying, lion hunting, it's not a so dangerous game. But it all means about your preparation. A dedicated 5 to 6 months of preparation will give you the success. And once if you know how to approach the PO exam, and it becomes very, very easy to crack the clerical exams or the assistant exams of other institutions. So dear students, let me begin with PO IBPS. So we have a set of exams for IBPS PO and SBI PO, and it is called for in each year. IBPS calls PO in a year and SBI calls for PO in a year. Respectively, IBPS calls for clerical in a year and SBI calls for clerical in a year. Already we have 4 exams. In that regard, if you clear PO exam, your first position will be PO. I mean probationary officer. A PO is an under training, a person who is in under training, who actually undergoes training to know what is all about banking transactions, how he is going to manage the bank branch, and how he is going to manage the professionals, how he is going to maintain the account. First 2 years intensive training will be there for you. But don't feel disappointed that will you get smaller salary? No. Actually, you will be getting a bulk amount of salary as a probationary officer even in the first month. For example, if you are recruited as a IBPS PO, you will be receiving 55K to 60K as a first month salary, even as a probationary officer. That is the beauty of it. And don't forget it, you have to keep going up in your career. See, as a probationary officer, you will be provided and trained by experts of experienced professionals in banking sector in various fields like banking law, banking transactions, accounting, reconciliations, and taxations, and bank auditing, and communications, retail marketing, and human resource management, and head office management, and all other etc., etc., etc. And these 2 years are divided into two parts. 1 year, first year you will be in head office training, and second year you will be in the field training. So head office training, hope definitely you must be knowing that all the basics of banking and all the accountancy process and taxation and dealing with other banks and head offices or RBI, everything will be trained to you. And the second year you will be kept under the proper probationary surveillance in a branch under a bank manager. For example, if you are recruited for one of the nationalized banks called Bank of India, in first year you will be getting training about all the banking aspects, and in second year you will be getting the field training. So field training means that you are going to learn the banking transactions, what you have learned in first year, and you are going to ensure that how it is going to be applied practically in a branch. So practical knowledge is inevitable in the banking sector. That's why you are put under this field training. And you have to work as a clerk, but don't worry, again salary will be higher only, not the salary of clerk. And you will also have to work as a cashier, and you have to work as a head clerk in that 1 year, but with the same higher salary only. Now, after your probationary period is over, the next you will go to assistant managerial level. This is your proper tenure start. You are going to become assistant manager as the first position, and your salary will definitely be around 70 to 75K. After assistant managerial position, it's a periodical promotion. After a few years, you will definitely go to managerial positions. Here you will be definitely receiving around 85 to 1 lakh. It's quite interesting, right? Yes, but the banking profession in nationalized banks assures you this, and with job security. And apart from that, you can go much more higher. You are going to occupy as zonal level officer. Your salary will be much more higher than 1 lakh, say for example 1.2. And then you will go to head office level. In head office level, we have few steps. So you have to be in admin position, then directors, then chairman. So dear students, if you are recruited as a PO, you can go until head office, either admin or director. At last extent, you can become also chairman of the bank. You have that capability, and you have that service conditions and opportunity to become. But I would say that not all the POs will become chairman or director, but I really assure you all the POs in their tenure time can become an administrative officer in head office, because there can be one chairman. All the POs cannot occupy one chair, right? There can be one Amitabh Bachchan, one Rajinikanth, one Abdul Kalam, right? So the case, like there can be one chairman. So you have to keep it in your mind that you can go until head office level, and as an admin or even some extent director, chairman is possible. So I hope you would have by this time come to know that you have tremendous level of growth as a PO, and you have tremendous level of salary conditions as a PO in your service condition. And when we talk about the SBI, dear students, you are all the same scale of promotion you have, but salary will be quite higher. When a person is selected as a SBI PO, he or she will receive 70K as first month salary, and also in other stages it will be much more higher than IBPS nationalized banks, maybe around 5 to 10%. So dear guys, these both institutions are giving you a tremendous level of employment opportunity where you can settle your career very securely with a good huge salary and with dignified positions. And of course you will be regarded as a gazetted position, and you have the gazetted position officer grade as a bank PO or as a manager. You can sign in green ink. You have the position. So yeah. Now let us discuss about other institutions. Now we'll talk about RBI. So RBI, you have Group B position and assistants. In Group B position, your first stage only will be in training position. After your training, you will be regarded as Group B officer, and you can go until the level of Deputy Governor. So this is the case with this. You can grow until the Deputy Governor range of RBI, or maybe sometimes if all the positions are not suiting you properly, you will occupy as an admin position in RBI. And assistants, they will be in a position as a clerk. They will help these officers to execute their functions properly. And we have few other banks called Grameen banks and NABARD. So these both share same quality. Why? Because NABARD, all of you know that the expansion for NABARD is National Agriculture Bank for Rural Development. So rural development is the base. Here also we have the same positions as PO, but it is not called as PO, we call it as officer's grade. And in Grameen Bank also we have officer's grade. Because it is not commercial entity, but it is more of promotional entity governed by Government of India under Agriculture Ministry in order to promote the agriculture and rural industry and promotion of green economy. So that's why it is more of service oriented, and the professionals of higher managerial executives are known as officers. Here also we have the same pay scales what we have described in IBPS and SBI PO. Maybe 2 or 3,000 will be difference. That's it. And now, if we talk about one more institution called insurance. So when we talk about insurance, so we have GICs and LICs, right? So all these positions in Government of India has the same roles as a commercial entity, and which directly involves with public regarding money matter, you know about insurance, right? So this is the case where the insurance board of recruitment promotion, they have designed their syllabus as how it is being conducted in IBPS and SBI in other banks. in the same way, insurance also conducting the same way of exams. They too have assistants and officers grade, and here also you have training, and promotion is periodical, and salary is as same as IBPS or SBI. So dear students, as far as we have discussed until now, you might have understood that all exams have the same rules and same salary conditions, and they have the similar conditions of banking or insurance or other kind of syllabuses, which will ensure that you are getting a secured job and with good salary and life settled.